Welcome back, everybody, to Out of Touch. I am your chipper and jovial and electorally punished host, Kai Schwemmer. I'm so glad to be doing another episode of Out of Touch. Sorry, you'll have to let me know if I have to adjust the mic or anything. We're working again with our new camera. We're hoping it works well. So far, it looks pretty good. Also, I just want to say, not to self-glaze too much, the suit, tie, shirt combo today, I think it's pretty spectacular. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out, All-American Goy, thanks for following. Who do we have in the chat? We've got Zachary Hafen, let's go. We've got Meow Groiper, Liberty Santano, Mormon Girl, Sophia over there on Kick. Good to see you guys tuning in on Kick. We've got Carrick Von K. We got Thomas, Saturnine Love, let's go. Oh, we got freaking James. All right, let's go. Cactus Spartan. Oh, my goodness. So good to see you guys in the chat. Chris Watson, Savs Master, JR Nosif. Oh, my goodness. The moat has arrived. He certainly has. He certainly has. So cool to be with you guys again. It has been, I think, a full month since we've done an episode of Out of Touch. Now, we've done streams, but there's like the chill stream where we vibe, where we do whatever. And then there's the episodes of, and the studio's breaking apart already. It's not been 2 minutes. It has not been 2 minutes and the studio's it's already dismantled. Dismantled. It's already dismantled. It's already coming apart. Falling apart, like the name of the movie. Somebody was asking during the intro, what remix is this? That was the club version. The club version of Hall & Oates' Out of Touch, which is the intro song of the show called Out of Touch, hosted by yours truly. Today, we're going to be diving in to everything that went down at the special election held at this last Saturday's SCC meeting, the meeting of the State Central Committee of the Utah Republican Party. We will be diving in to what occurred. As you know, I ran, and as you may now be aware, unfortunately the results of the election were not as we had hoped, but there was some very interesting politics at play. It was not as cut and dry as truly it shoulda, coulda, woulda been. And I'll dive into all of the different details here. I'll go over every single thing that we prepped for, everything we did. We did invest a lot of time and energy into this, some money as well, which you guys were so kind as to donate. Seriously, thank you guys so much, everybody that donated. I can't say how grateful I am. And that was a good pitch as well. That was a good pitch as well with the members of the State Central Committee to say, hey, look, guys, we were able to raise $4,000 for an SCC special election. And we can bring that kind of fundraising to the party if I am elected. So that was a good pitch, and I want to thank you guys for doing it. But before we get into all of that, I've got two things to do. Number one, I need to pour up some yerba mate. I got to pour up that herb. I got to pour up that sweet herb. You guys know how it goes. I am so tired, you wouldn't believe it. Today, I spoke with NPR. We had a little bit of an interview with NPR, kind of about the trajectory of the party, whether Utah will be a kind of frontrunner, will be a kind of way of taking the pulse of the country in a post-Trump Republican Party. Look, dude, look at how beautiful this thing is. I'm sorry, look at this thing. So good. So good, dude. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that just make you happy? What's up, Hellfire Agency? We got you in the chat as well. So we were talking with NPR, did a nice little interview, gave some takes, gave some opinions. You know the question I hate most that people ask? People ask, who do you want? Who are you going to support in 2028? I hate that question because I don't know. And I'm hoping that, yes, you do get a Hellfire Agency says, post-Trump, do we need to call the Secret Service? No, dude. This is like, he's not going to run for re-election is what we're talking about. Chill. Calm down. I just hate that question because I really am holding out for this candidate who we don't yet know, somebody who springs up, somebody who's willing to embody the vision of the 2016 Trump revolution and willing to execute. I'm waiting for this individual, and I have faith that he will arise. I don't yet know who it will be. So I hate that question. And really, if I look at everybody else, I mean, who do we have in the run? We've got Ron DeSantis. We've got, and actually that's one that most people don't typically cite. Honestly, out of the whole league of candidates, he's probably one of the better ones. But we also have, of course, the members of the admin. J.D. Vance. The problem there, of course, is the Thiel connection. He says all the right things, but the problem is this deep, dark money Thiel connection, the fusion of the White House with Peter Thiel's Palantir, just last year, brought in through Doge. So J.D. Vance has his set of problems. Who's the other one that's cited from the admin? The other one is Marco Rubio. But Marco Rubio is one of the architects of the Iran war, one of the most, if not the most unpopular war in all of American history. So Marco Rubio, for me at least, no go. Sorry, little Marco, no go. And then you've got Tucker Carlson. I believe Tucker Carlson is going to run for president. But then it'll just become a question of, all right, whose money do you want in politics? Do you want Mercer money or do you want Thiel money? Do you want Thiel bucks or Mercer dollars? Mercer rubles. LX64, thank you for the follow. And that's the situation we find ourselves in. And there's a lot of different battles all around the country, swing state battles that we are watching. And you got a couple elections like Vivek Ramaswamy there in Ohio. Vivek is no good. Vivek is no good. So I look at the pool of the candidates and I ask, oh, Spencer Cox, he's going to run for sure. He'll run for president. I don't know if he really cares about winning it. I kind of don't think so, but I'm sure he'll run. That, of course, cannot happen. We cannot allow that to happen because we cannot have a return to Romney Republicanism. What do you mean? What do you mean, Jay Hart in the chat? W. Spencer Cox. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah, we can't have President Cox. Even just saying it, no good. So that's our situation. That's kind of the general lineup I'm seeing. I'm not super excited about any of them. So we'll see. Dude, this mate is just not doing it right now. Anyway, so that's our situation. That's our lineup. But let me tell you, before we dive into... Oh, I was talking about why I'm tired. As I was driving home, I drove by Chip. It's like Crumble, but it's called Chip. And I drove... Oh, Beardson. Beardson Beardley is in the race. Now, he might be that dark horse candidate. Now, Beardson Beardley, he might be that dark horse candidate. He might just. Bo Beards is so true. Let me know when we go door knocking, okay? I need to pass out some literature. No, but what was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm driving home. I see Chip. I stop by. I order a cookie. I eat the cookie. That was so sugary. I was about to fall asleep on the highway. I had to drive an hour back down south to Provo. I felt like I was going to die on the road. It was brutal. But I'm back home now, but it is that lack of energy that I am feeling that has caused me to need to rely on this green drink right here, sipping that green. Thomas Kellogg, I see your super chat. How are you, man? We'll address this right now. The rest of the super chats and the power chats, we will be saving till the end of the show. But if you would like to support the show, we are absolutely going to be accepting your support in form of power chat. And if you want to donate on Kick, if you want to subscribe on Kick, that's fantastic as well. We actually do need the subscriptions on Kick. And if you want to do a super chat on YouTube, that's absolutely allowed as well. I'll take your money however you want to send it. Here is the link, just so you guys have it, and we will read through all of those super chats at the end of the stream. Don't you worry. Don't you worry now. And we'll put that in the kick chat as well. Thank you, Meow. We love you, Meow. Meow is just such a goat. Meow, we better play some Rainbow Six Siege after this. Anyway, let's actually get into this. But before we go diving into the specifics of it, I want you guys to hear one thing. I want you to hear one thing, okay? And that is that this is the last time that we are losing. And I want every single one of you guys to hear me and to hear me good. Hear me and hear me good. This is the last time we are losing. Now, admittedly, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have things not go my way. And I think I need to do more of that. There was this moment afterwards where I kind of felt like, man, this feeling, it stings. I need to lose more. I need to put more at risk. I am not doing enough in my life that puts it all on the line. I need to start playing Russian roulette. That's a joke. That is a joke. But I need to put it all on the line. I need to start sacrificing more, putting myself out more. I need to start working harder and putting more at risk. And if I do that, it will fast track my growth. But let me tell you something. I've balanced that out with the idea and the fact that we will never lose another election. So, write that down. That's all I'll say. Anyways, let's dive into the actual things that went on. For those who don't know, Utah just had an election held in the SEC, the State Central Committee, and it was just one election, right? Because there was a vacancy. The executive board of the Utah Republican Party is made up of a chair, a vice chair, a secretary. I don't know if the parliamentarian takes part of the executive board. I don't believe so. They're just sat up there. You've got the national committee woman, the national committee man for the RNC, and you have the treasurer. And there's also a technology specialist. Great dude. But anyway, this is the makeup. This is the landscape. And the current treasurer, his name is Chris Knoll. The current treasurer is running to be on the Salt Lake City Council. Now, because he's running to be on the Salt Lake City Council, he can no longer do his role as treasurer. He has to leave one post and he's running for the next. Now, seeing this vacancy and hoping to do something to serve the party, and talking with my other college Republicans friends, we all kind of decided that this would be a good opportunity to serve the party, to run, to move it in a more conservative direction, to provide a Gen Z voice on the executive board, a conservative vote on the committee, on the executive committee, and in the SEC, because the job of the treasurer is twofold. It's a job, of course, of finances, budgeting, but it's also an ideological job. It is an ideological position. You have to vote. And your vote will dictate the trajectory of the party and certainly the culture of it. So this is a role that's twofold, and this is something that I was hoping to be able to do, and not just to do this senseless climbing to the top, but to serve the party, to put my feet on the ground and, step into the ring and do something really productive. That was going to require a lot of work, but it was something that I already knew I was going to enjoy doing. I was the financial secretary when I was serving my mission in Mendoza, Argentina. I loved the work. Oftentimes it's considered a thankless job. The way I think about it, the job I'm doing right now, you get the most praise and you do very little hard work. Now, the role of the treasurer is pretty much the opposite. You do a lot of hard work and you get barely any praise. And you're probably ticking people off, right? Because you're working with an audit committee that is holding you to some scrutiny. So that was the situation. So I filed to run, as you guys know. You guys helped pay that filing fee. Thank you very much. Shout out Gadfly. And we enter the race. We're hitting media hard. And we've got people behind us. We'll read here for a second. This is from the Deseret News, which is a Utah outlet. They wrote a piece about our campaign. It says, inside the low-profile race that could reveal the future of the Utah GOP, Kai Schwimmer, the 23-year-old college Republican, hopes to go from influencer to party insider. It says, college Republican activist Kai Schwimmer said he plans to run for the vacant Utah GOP treasurer position in May as part of his goal to enter elected office and eventually represent the state in Congress. Now, the framing here is actually very negative. The framing of this article makes it out to be, I'm this political striver. All I want is to, just use it as a stepping stone up to higher and higher things. Don't get me wrong. It's like, absolutely, I don't sense that I will retire from fighting for the state of Utah in politics ever. But this is not just like, social striving. If it were, I don't think I would run for treasurer. Anyway, it says the low-profile race to maintain the party's financial records will be the first electoral test for Schwimmer, who has come to represent a generational divide among conservatives over identity, institutions, and Israel. It will be an early indicator of how the party will react to a Gen Z worldview shaped by social media and populist overtones as leaders continue to navigate shifts accelerated by President Donald Trump's MAGA movement. An election to replace former Treasurer Chris Knoll, who stepped down to run for Salt Lake City Council, will take place at a meeting of the GOP's State Central Committee. So far, Schwimmer is the only candidate. Now, this was before the filing, so I was the only one who had announced. Let me be clear about that. It says, an America First worldview. The 23-year-old influencer became a flashpoint for conservative debates over Gen Z political attitudes last month when he was appointed to serve as the political director of the College Republicans of America. Gen Z is the generation born between 1997 and 2012. Backlash focused on Schwimmer's past affiliation with Nick Fuentes, his refusal to disavow white nationalist commentator, and his continued defensive aspects of Fuentes' aggressive America First ideology. This is interesting, the way he frames it. In interviews with the Deseret News, Schwimmer did not identify any policy disagreements with Fuentes. He highlighted common ground on social issues like banning pornography and overlap on the issue of Israel. And so already you have kind of the way that the article is being written. It's like, what the heck does this have to do with a treasurer race? What the freak does this have to do with the treasurer race? Is already the, that's already kind of the thing that I'm thinking. What the freak? But anyway, it talks about, my views of Israel. Schwimmer said dual citizens should not run for higher office. Absolutely. Schwimmer said he also believes legal immigration should be restricted to counter demographic change. The economy should be guided towards nationalist objectives, and white Christian men should do more to stand up for themselves. Banger after banger after banger. I am spitting. Anyway. So it goes on. It cites some of the people within the party, some of their opinions. He has received praise from lawmakers for efforts to reverse, talking about me, he has received praise from lawmakers for efforts to reverse Utah's redistricting law. Schwimmer has succeeded in quickly becoming a familiar face in Beehive state politics. He joined Representative Burgess Owens at Trump's State of the Union address and has started issuing endorsements to congressional candidates. If elected treasurer, Schwimmer told the Deseret News it will give him an opportunity to strengthen the party, learn more about state politics, and build relationships with Republican leaders in Utah. What I think, this is a quote, what I think I'm really interested in is showing that I'm not just a snot-nosed kid who does social media, but that I'm interested in helping the party and serving them. Schwimmer said, and if they think I do a good job, then they can add that to their perception of me. Participating in politics, not as a commentator, but as a candidate, has been Schwimmer's dream. In 2021, he told the Highland Rambler he hoped to run for office at 25 and ultimately to become president of the United States. I don't even know if that was the case at the time, but you can tell the way that the article is framing this. There was only a very short section of the interview that I had with this journalist, but the crux of this article became how I just want to be a career politician. So there was already kind of there was a way that this was being characterized since even before my run. Anyway. Last year, Schwimmer appeared on an episode of popular debate program Jubilee featuring 20 far-right conservatives and debated radio personality Steve Deace on Israel for a panel moderated by Daily Wire host Michael Knowles. While he has accumulated around 70,000 followers across platforms like Instagram and X and TikTok, Kai Schwimmer, who is studying political science at BYU, said he's interested in public policy. His preferred career path would be full-time public service. I would add, I prefer the career path of being a full-time father and husband. But public service is good too. Anyway, so then it goes on and says, how will the GOP respond to Gen Z? Despite the online uproar over Schwimmer, top Utah Republican Party officials have welcomed his involvement. And our Utah Republican National Committee man, Brad Bonham, called me one of the most engaged college Republicans in the state who helped get a petition to repeal Prop 4 across the finish line in February. Brad the GOAT. You're married and have kids? No, no, that's what I aspire to be. I'm not yet a full-time public servant, and I am not married. I am not a husband or a father yet either. Anyway, Kai understands that dynamic and what is involved. Oh, Bonham, who does not endorse candidates for party positions, said Schwimmer has demonstrated a talent to market himself in a big way, which Bonham said is an important ability for any prospective politician. Kai understands that dynamic and what is involved with actually winning races. Bonham said Kai, with his platform and it's growing quickly, should be a very strong candidate for elective office when that time comes. For elected office. Anyway. And this was great. I loved Brad's comment here. Check this out. Schwimmer's skeptical view of U.S.-Israel relations reflects a broader America First attitude sparked by Trump's focus on, quote, fixing the problems at home before we try to fix everyone else's problems, Bonham said. So, very interesting. So there we go. There's the article. That gives you a sense of what was being said before the race. So before the race began, that's kind of, this is the way that things are being framed. Filing occurs, I want to say, I forget what day it was. It was right at the beginning of the month. I want to say it was the 4th. Or maybe it was the 2nd. Saturday the 2nd, I think, of May. So filing occurs, and we file the night of. Perfect, we're filed, it's good to go. And then we hit the campaign trail hard. I make a call to all 190 members of the State Central Committee. I was the only candidate to do so. I was the only candidate to give a call personally to every single member of the State Central Committee. I was only able to get on the phone with about 20% of them. If you expand that to who texted me back or who communicated with somebody else, we'd make that 30%. I had a team of individuals we all texted, members of the SEC, individually, asking for their support. I reached out personally, and to those who I could not call, who did not answer the phone, I left a message and I sent a text. It was incredibly important to me that I do everything I can to reach out to every single member of the SEC. And I'm not saying this to make any member of the SEC feel bad. I am saying this to say I took this race absolutely serious. Was it lower stakes? Was it a more local race? Absolutely, but I did everything to take this race as serious as possible, as if I were running for president. That is what the people in Utah are owed. That is what I am responsible for. It is putting in that kind of an effort. And you have my promise. You now know, you've got proof that that is the kind of effort that I will put forward. We're not scaling down, we're ramping up. If there's anything I learned, it's that I want to finish those calls up faster next time, because a lot of them were done in the last week. And I got better at it, as I went on. I met with elected officials. I met with members of the SEC. I took their calls. I had great conversations. They told me a lot about what their concerns for the party are. Here are the big concerns that I heard. The party's divided, which is certainly true. Many did not love the direction that the party leadership was going, and I have sympathies. And then what was there's a lot of criticism of Spencer Cox and of SB 54. Those are more Utah issues. Some of you are not going to know what that is, but I'm absolutely in the exact same boat. I empathize with those people. A couple asked me about amendments that we'd be voting on the day of the SEC meeting. And it was a real privilege. It was a real honor to be able to do that. Now, here's something else I did. I reached out personally to the former treasurers. Now, here am I thinking, and this is kind of what gets into it. This is kind of what gets into the details. For me, knowing that the role of the treasurer is one that has specific requirements, right? That you need to know something about finances. You need to be able to do the job of the treasurer, the managerial aspect, well. I reach out to the people who are going to know how to do the job. Some of the former treasurers, including Chris, who's the current treasurer. So I reach out, I talk with them, and I get insight into the specifics. Like we're not talking about ideology. All we're talking about is what does the job specifically entail? What would I need to be doing on a day-to-day basis? And it turns out I've actually got a lot of experience doing that. What is it? Managing the accounts. We are a political 527 organization. We are a political party. Knowing specific rules there, it helps you, run a tight ship, keep a balanced budget, do fundraising. You're doing prompt reimbursements. You're managing different accounts, a state and a federal account. You're answering a lot of emails. And I'm hearing this as I'm researching and as I'm talking with these treasurers. I know exactly how to do all of these things. These are all things that I did when I was the financial secretary in my mission. And I was, as the financial secretary, liable for, whatever happened if I misspent money. And back then, they were sacred tithing funds. Back then, if I messed up with this money, I could get excommunicated from the church because they are sacred tithing funds. In this case, they're donations. Maybe I go to jail. Maybe the FEC comes down. But this is, the stakes, having high stakes like that, being responsible for money that is not my own, large sums of money. It was also something that I was used to. Now, I'll tell you this. From the get-go, we knew that this was going to be a very difficult campaign. There were two other gentlemen that filed. Their names were Jason Knavel and Brian Godfrey. Now, we never really heard too much from Brian. I actually just had the chance to meet him on the day of the election, but seemed like an upstanding guy. He had a lot of business experience, a lot of accounting, a lot of finance experience. Jason Knavel did as well. Jason Knavel has an MBA, and I think it was 10 years of accounting experience. Both of them were about 10 years older than I am, and both of them really knew their stuff when it came to finances. And I can't snap my finger and make up years of experience. I knew that it was going to be difficult to bridge the experience gap, but I also knew I had unique insight into what the role of the treasurer was. And a lot of people don't know this, but the job of the treasurer is not necessarily that of an accountant. The party actually has an accountant. So that was my pitch. My pitch, and we all had a chance to give a 3-minute speech. My pitch to the members of the State Central Committee was this. I have worked. I have gotten younger people involved. I have fundraised. You know who I am. I've stood up for conservative issues forever. My entire record is online. I would bring 80,000 people with me to pay more attention to the party, to pay more attention to what's happening in Utah. That was my pitch. And my pitch was also that I would be able easily to cooperate and learn from people who already have done the job. And the inexperience, to the extent that there was inexperience, was not going to be a problem for me. And besides all of that, because my job is political commentary, I have the most flexible schedule of anybody in the race, which means I have the most time to dedicate to being the treasurer. I thought that was a pretty good pitch. I was also able to say, I talked to every single one of you. I love talking with you. Those who answered the phone, I loved answering your questions and getting a sense of what your priorities were. That was the breakdown. I'm going to take a sip of mate real fast. Woo! Woo! That's good. Delicious. Okay. So, that was the situation. I give my speech second. Brian gives his speech. Brian, great guy, but not a public speaker. He talked a lot about his roots in Utah, a little bit less about his financial experience, which was for sure his big strength. He was the most experienced, I think, out of the three of us. More experienced than me by far. I gave the second speech, and then Jason gave the third. Now, Jason actually gave a great speech. It was well written. You could tell it was very sincere. He was very honest. He's like, look, I'm not super front facing. He was the former vice chairman, or maybe is the current vice chairman of the Young Republicans. So I'm the vice chairman of the College Republicans. He is the vice chair of the Young Republicans. So kind of similar resumes. He'd been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. He was never too front-facing. So my prediction going into the first round was that we were going to either tie or I would be slightly ahead. And I'd gotten commitments as well of votes from lots of individuals. So my anticipation, and we had gone over, by the way, every member of the SEC the night before, and we were kind of looking, okay, this guy goes our way, this guy goes the other way, this guy, we had done the calculus. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, we're going to go 50-50. And there's maybe a 5 vote margin of error, which means it's plus or minus 5, right? But then as the votes start coming in, and the way it's, so there's typically 190 members, right? This time around, in attendance at this meeting, there were 90 in person and there were 43 online, if I'm not mistaken. 93 in person, 43 online is I think what the split was. Actually, I think I have it here. Give me a quick second. I'm going to see if I still have it in my calculator because I was calculating the percentages. History. Nice. Yeah, it was out of 143. So we're looking at it, seeing the votes come in, and already we're kind of getting the sense that things aren't going our way. And it's like, okay, we lose the first round, but we go on to a second round. The bottom candidate is eliminated. We go on to the second round. And I had a feeling in the second round, I was going to give a speech that was going to sway any of the individuals in the middle, and I was going to be able to win the second round. I was very optimistic going into the second round. I was writing down what I was going to say. It was like I had it planned out. I had a very good sense for what I was going to do. And the vote comes back. They announce it. By the way, there was really weird, sussy, bad stuff happening with the technology. In order to be sure that the vote could be anonymous, but that the people who were attending virtually on Zoom could participate and retain the anonymity, here's what had to happen. You had to, one person had you on Zoom and put you in a breakout room. The person who was assigned to the breakout room had their screen covered so they couldn't see you, but they could hear your voice because you would have to tell them how to fill the ballot out. Now, the ballots were filled out in person by hand by one of the interns or poll workers. And so imagine this. You're on Zoom. You go in. Somebody assigns you to a breakout room. In that breakout room, the individual who you're on the breakout room with, they can't see you because no two people can have the same two pieces of information, or no one person can have the same two pieces of information, who you are and how you voted, which means the first guy knows who you are, the second guy knows how you voted. Unless, of course, they recognize your voice. In that case, they know both. So it's not a totally flawless system, but we're on Zoom. It sucks. Zoom sucks. So we have to make do. But the process is stalled like crazy. There's issues that are being run into, and, there may or may not have been a communication. I don't know. I don't want to get conspiratorial. At the end of the day, whatever did occur, I don't think it would have flipped the vote, but it just wasn't a very streamlined process. It didn't work very well, and I don't fault anybody for that. But it was just like another thing. It was just another thing. I don't want to just become the person who says it wasn't fair because it wasn't my outcome, my preferred outcome, but I do want to say that it was probably a lot less streamlined than it should have been, and there was time in the interim for whipping to occur. Whipping votes, I mean. So, the election results come back, and it's announced that there will not be a second round. That because one of the candidates hit over the 60% threshold of the votes, he would automatically become the winner. It's the same way that the party does it at convention. And it came back that Jason had won I believe, 65% of the vote. He won 93 of the 143 votes. And I'm kind of sitting there, and then my vote share comes back. I think I got just under 30%. And I'm like sitting back. And I suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome. I also know, though, the extent of my ability. And I sat there thinking, and I said, if this is a normal election, and I give a speech with the resume that I have, with the work and time I've put in, minimum, my vote share is 40% or more, or a little bit more, which moves it automatically to a second round, even without a third individual in the race, or with the third individual in the race. So I'm thinking, hold on, for the vote share to be what it is, for it to swing that drastically, something else happened. There was a confounding variable that occurred. And I really had no idea. I knew, and this was interesting, I knew that there was an attempt made to dissuade people from voting for me. A couple days, actually a week prior to the election, I was spoken to by a prominent member of a prominent, female Republican, a member of kind of the Republican women of Utah. I was spoken to by a prominent member of that club who told me that she had been receiving calls from individuals telling her, from multiple individuals, mind you, multiple individuals who were not campaigning. These were not like the people running against me. The guys running against me were great. Love them. But there were people who were not even in the race who were calling up prominent Republicans to dissuade them from voting for me. Not just that, within the body, there was a lot of chatter about, is this guy like an extremist? Like, what's this and that? Lots of conversations that had to be And I expected I definitely expected kind of the backlash and some of the issue of left-wingers trying to shut it down because they're the ones that get really upset about the news and about these articles and whatnot. It was pretty remarkable. It's like, I think this was probably the most widely reported on treasurer race of all time. It's a special SEC election and everybody's up in arms about it. What the freak is up with that? But then after the election, I'm talking to people, especially the more conservative wing, who, I'll be honest, like I kind of expected that they would all go my way, which is part of why I was surprised at the end result. Because if they had, my vote share would have been much higher than it was. So I realized something happened there. There was something that I had failed to do good on by them to gain their vote, to earn their vote. And so I'm talking with people afterwards, and there was one detail here that I forgot to mention, that I hadn't mentioned, rather. I didn't forget, but that I hadn't mentioned about the way we ran the campaign. We had sought out, or rather, we didn't even necessarily seek it out too vigorously, but we believed that an endorsement from the current treasurer, because the role of the treasurer is a more mundane appearing one, we believed that an endorsement from the current treasurer would be positive. People who maybe did not trust that I was experienced enough would see at least that the current treasurer didn't have an issue with it. That was the extent of the rationale. It was not ideological. It was not terribly well researched. It was like, hey, the current treasurer, the incumbent, is, I'm hearing from people that he's doing a good job. If people think that I'm going to be totally unexperienced, maybe that's going to be a good way to, maybe that'll be a good way to assuage some of the fear. As it turns out, it was that choice, and it was the fact that I had that endorsement that ended up sinking the campaign. I was wondering at first what it was. I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? Was it totally rigged? Do people hate me? Kind of, what's the deal? It turns out I was too moderate for the state central committee. And that's maybe my tongue-in-cheek way of putting it. But a large part of the SEC, of the members of the SEC, they saw that endorsement, not knowing a terrible amount about me. They saw that endorsement and they were under the perception, they felt or had the perception that I was a member of the establishment, that I was going to just kind of fall in line, vote 100% their way, be a uniform, card-carrying member of the party establishment or of the executive board. And the reason this was so baffling to me is because I have never, ever in my life been accused of being too moderate. I have been called a Nazi. I have been called a racist. I have been called a neo-fascist by an ex-Disney Channel actor who came out as gay on the show. I have been called a misogynist. I have been called many a name. I have never been called a moderate. I have never been called a moderate. And so I'm sitting here scratching my head. I'm like, hold on. I know I'm the most hardline conservative in the race. I understand if people are not voting for me because they're worried that I've got bad associations. They're worried that I'm too radical. I expected that. I prepared for that. I did not prepare for anybody thinking that I was too moderate. But the fact that I had received an endorsement by a member of the executive board, who I later discovered as well, there's more of a history there, a political history, that I was simply not privy to because I was not in the country at the time. I was able to discover that was what had sunk the campaign. And talking with some of the individuals who represented this, who represent the more kind of anti-establishment populist section of the party, talking with these wonderful people, and many of them are great friends. These are amazing people. These are true fighters for Utah. Talking with them afterwards, I asked, how do you think the election would have gone without the endorsement? And they go, it would have gone 50 votes your direction. An additional 50 votes. And if that was an additional 50 votes to the 30-something that I had, it would have swung us. It would have literally won us the majority of the election, and we wouldn't have gone to a second round. We would have won in the first round. And I'm sitting here just and it makes me feel a little bit better because to an extent, I didn't know. It wasn't something that we did wrong necessarily in the campaign. It was the fact that we didn't know that this endorsement carried that kind of weight. It wasn't even a thing that we were conceiving of. It wasn't something we were privy to. It wasn't even something we were considering. Hindsight 2020. But it also, taught me a valuable lesson, which is instead of asking, what can I do to earn your support? I have to ask people, I have to, prod a little bit. I have to say, what stops you from supporting me? Why aren't you supporting me? Why would you not support me? Is there anything that is holding that up? Because I only heard this from two people in the aftermath of the election. And I, by the way, very much empathize with the perspective of many of the members of the SEC. It's I get this. I get the place that they are in because I have been in that exact place. I have been the outsider, political streamer, pundit, commentator, pugilist who bashes and bashes and bashes the inside of the Republican Party. And to an extent, I still do that. In fact, I would say, although my role now is different, my ability to push the Overton window and my access to individuals who can truly change policy, it's only increased. But I understand, because I've been on the outside before, the hesitancy to vote in an individual who you believe is going to do what has always been done. And so I empathize absolutely with the individuals who did not vote for me. I understand the perspective. And now what the goal is, it is to show them who I am. And it was funny. I was talking with the guy. He's like, yeah, I saw some articles I saw some articles that were like calling you all sorts of names, saying you're like a racist. That made me want to vote for you more. And I was like, you see what I'm saying? It's like all of these articles get written up about me, and then I go to the SEC and I run this election and I lose because I'm too moderate? And I'm sitting here like, what do you mean too moderate? You should read what The Guardian says about me. What do you mean too, Guardian? The Salt Lake Tribune makes it sound like I'm Hitler too. So anyway, that was what went down. That was the result of the election. And that was the kind of inter-party politics. But it was an absolute honor. I'll say it was an absolute honor to have the chance. I hope it's not the last time either. It was an absolute honor to have the chance to talk to the members of the State Central Committee. It was an absolute honor to hear from them their concerns. And it was even better to be able to tell them, I know that you feel that this party is not as conservative as it needs to be. But I'm here to tell you that young conservatives feel the same way. And if we're dropping out of the party, which I think young conservatives are, the reason we're dropping out of the Republican Party is because we do not think that the party has been defending its platform. If you read through the Republican Party platform, it's like gay marriage bad, abortion bad, immigration bad. It's based. The Republican Party platform, at least in the state of Utah, the state constitution is great. It's a really, really good document. We just need to actually adhere to it. That's the problem. We need to actually start having litmus tests. You need to be able to take a politician, to put them right next to the actual party platform, and you need to go line by line by line and see how they measure up. If we did that, I think we'd be in a much better spot as a party. We need to go into these precincts and we need to start policing them. Maybe that's unpopular, but I do believe in ideological purity. I think that words should mean something. I think if I say I'm a Republican, that should mean a particular thing. It should not mean a progressive going the speed limit. It should not mean a libertarian. And I'll say, by the way, just from my perspective, right? Just from my perspective, it is something that I worry about. I worry that it could be that they have elected an individual who's not going to be as conservative of a vote on the SEC as they could have had. I have since spoken, by the way, to Jason, who is awesome. I think he's going to do great. He is very, very proficient in finances. Like I said, he has an MBA, 10 years of accounting experience. I think he's going to do a great job. I do believe he's ideologically more libertarian. I am ideologically more of a nationalist. There is a benefit or a detriment, however you view it, based off who is going to have that vote on the SEC. Nonetheless, he's reached out. We've chatted a little bit. I think he'll do a tremendous job, and I'm going to support him in the role. But that is something that I don't know if it was fully considered. Maybe it is. I hope it was. Only time will tell. But that was the breakdown. That was the breakdown of the race. And I'll tell you, by the way, here's the white pill. You guys want to know the white pill? After the election, I had a lot of people come up to me. And I'll be honest, I loved the feeling after the election. You know, it sucks. Oh, also, the day of, we had everything prepped. We had the table. We had donuts out. We had bananas and apples for the healthy folks. We had everything prepped. We were talking to people. I learned another lesson. One of the lessons, bring pamphlets, bring flyers, bring something physical for people to read. That was great. Jason did that really well. I took a note. I said, this is really good. I got to do this. I got to do this next time. So that was another note I took. The other note, I need to be more vigorous whipping votes. I need to talk to people. I need to ask, what is stopping you from voting for me? What can I do? And I think once I get to know these people, I think very quickly they're going to realize, whoa. We thought you were like in the pocket of the establishment. Now we're seeing that the establishment Republicans have been trying to kill you. They were trying to kill me in the womb. They were trying to smother me in the crib. I think once a lot of these people see how Joel Berry and what's his name, James Lindsay, were treating me, I think they'll very quickly realize, well, hold on, I think this guy's more on side than we previously believed. And I think some of them are already starting to realize that. It was just, many of them didn't know who I was. And they saw that I had interacted a lot with the state party. I'm a state party intern. That's to be expected. I have amicable relationships with members of the state party. Absolutely. I plan to continue having amicable relationships with them. I believe absolutely, as Paul says, that as much as it be in our power, as much as we are able, that we should live peaceably with all men. I believe that principle. I believe in that eternal divine principle, and I will live it until the day I die or am killed, because somebody is not a fan of living amicably and peaceably with all people. That is one thing you can count on. I will not become a polemic pugilist any day soon. But I'm on it with the alliteration tonight, dude. I'm killing it with the alliteration. Oh my goodness. Alliteration all night, every day. But yeah, I think now we build. Now we build. This will by far not be the end. You have not seen the end. Many people came up and they said, don't be discouraged. Keep fighting. And I said, as if there was any choice. As if I had the choice to stop. As if the thought could even cross my mind. As if I could even ever think of leaving our country to die. See, here's the perspective. The members of the SEC, they see the way the party is going. But I have seen the destruction of the state I have known from my youth, and I have seen that destruction occur a lot faster in 10 years than a lot of them have seen in decades. Think about how radically my neighborhood has changed in 5 years compared to how their state has changed in 40. Just from a issue of, or from a matter of perspective, as a matter of perspective, the changes in Utah have been more radical in my eyes. How do you think that makes me feel? You think that pushes me to be a Spencer Cox, Mitt Romney Republican? No. That pushes me to want to be unabashedly, unapologetically pro-Utah, pro-America, and to put Utahns and Americans first. To put Utah and America first. That's what it pushes me to do. And you know what else it means? It means that I'm all done with the whole disagree better framing. Blake Moore wants to come out and do this interview saying, oh, it's a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom. People are, you look at what's happening with the redistricting across the country. It's a race to the bottom. Everybody's not acting principled. Dude, they have started killing us. It's like they've started killing us. They're going to build a data center, and they don't even care to employ Americans. If anybody thinks that I am going to be able to see that happen in my state, if anybody thinks that I can watch what has happened in my state and come away from it thinking that we need to disagree better and be moderate, then they have not lived and have a complete inability to empathize with what I have experienced. And I hope to make that very clear going forward. And admittedly, I think there is things that I could do to make that more clear. So anyway, that is the breakdown of the race. Oh, and this is what I was going to say. This is the white pill. People were coming up to me after the election. They were, of course, saying, hey, don't give up. And I'm like, what do you mean? On to the next battle. Give up? That's not an option. Wouldn't even cross my mind. I don't even know what those words mean. Even if it was in Spanish, I wouldn't know. Rendirse? What the freak does that mean? ¿Qué es lo que significa eso? No tengo ni idea. Cállate la boca. Halt die Klappe. So I don't even know any of that. That just does not even enter my lexicon. But then you had a lot of people who came up to me afterwards. They said, hey, look, thank you for being in this race. Thank you for putting yourself out there. I'll be honest, I didn't vote for you. But I didn't vote for you in this position. I would have voted for you in a different one. I didn't vote for you in this position, in this race, because I don't want your time or your talents wasted in this position, because that is not your core competency. I had people coming up to me afterwards saying, we want you to do media for the party. We want you to run the PR. We want you in a role that is not hidden. We want you in a front-facing role. There were several people who said that had I been running to be vice chair, they would have supported me. They would have voted for me. And that's not in the plans, but I am not ruling anything out. And it gives you a sense as well of something else that was at play, and that is that truly, I am not a treasurer first. I am not a finance guy. I'm not a finance major. I am a political science major. I like philosophy. I like political theory. We just got a super chat saying exactly that. Usually we save the super chats till the end, but we'll read this one out. Mary sends, "Is this your first campaign? Treasurer is for a quiet, nerdy person who keeps books. It's not for you. Jason does books for a living. That's why he won. You need to run for a dynamic role." And this is what a lot of people were telling me. And hey, I'll take it. I appreciate it. I mean, I'll be honest. I would have loved the opportunity to serve the party in the role of the treasurer. And I would say, to push back a little bit, Mary, I think it's a fallacy to believe that the treasurer ought to be quiet. I think we have this perception that different things, different people in the executive board do different things. I'm at the point where I don't think a single person in all of party leadership has the chance or has the right to be quiet. I think we need every single individual in the party being as loud as they can, fighting as hard as they can, and being as vocal as they physically can be in support of a more conservative party. That's my opinion. I think that even in that role, even in a role which is less front-facing, there is no time for caution. There is no time to be reserved, because it is the reservation of the Republican Party. It is the withdrawal of the Republican Party and this tendency to keep to ourselves that has ceded so much ground to the left. So I do not agree with the idea that the treasurer must be a quiet role. And I've talked with Jason and I've said, hey, I understand this is more of an unappreciated and a less public-facing role, but we need your voice. We need you as a member of the executive board to push the party in a conservative direction, and we need everybody to speak up. So, yeah. Then again, though, Mary, it's like, yes, you're right. Typically, the role of the treasurer is a more quiet and nerdy one. But I'm a nerd. I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek. I think I am a little bit of a nerd, though. Can I claim that? I did debate in high school. I did congressional debate in high school. I was the debate varsity captain. People ask me, hey, what sport did you play in high school? I was the varsity debate captain, literally. So anyway, that was the breakdown of the race. Let's dive into our super chats. Let's see if we've got any. Thank you, though, so much, Mary, for the 10. Mary Formaster with the $10 over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. And thank you again, Thomas Kellogg. Of course I know you, Thomas. I remember you. Where did you go? You disappeared for a while there. You disappeared for a minute there, Thomas. We missed you. We missed you, big guy. Anyway. Let's see if we've got some super chats here. Yo! Let's flipping go. We do. We got one quick super chat to read, and then we'll dive into our second story. Give me just a second, gentlemen. Just a second to set up the super chat portion. What the? Oh, there you go. You guys can hear it, but you can't see it. My apologies.
Asian Mormon sent $100 restore Utah, build Deseret.
Huge. And there it is. Huge super chat from Asian Mormon. You heard the guy. Restore Deseret, rebuild Utah. Was that what he said? And he always sends bangers. And this guy always sends bangers. Here we go. This is Terra Nova Janina, best part looped and slowed. Thank you, Asian Mormon. We love you, big guy. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. And we got another super chat we'll read off in just a second. Yo! Got another super chat too. By Thomas. Let's go. Okay, how does the stream quality look for you guys, by the way? What's going on, Cadaver's Notebook? Good to see you. When is the next party election? It's next year. Next year, James. Oh, you guys got to see this too. I had a legend come by today. Check this out, guys. This is so cool. I got to take off my ring for this. I got to take off my Kino. Check that out. Kino CTR ring. Oh, it's green, so you actually can't see it. Anyway, Kino CTR ring. Check this out. This thing is legendary. You guys ready? It's super heavy. Boom. Check that out, dude. It's a Christus. It is a Christus statue in quartz. Is that not the coolest? And check this out. Ready? I don't want to drop it. Boom. Look at this thing. It's so peak. Look at this freaking awesome thing, dude. I don't want it to drop. But look. Oh my goodness. Tell me that is not the coolest thing ever. So big shout out to the Christus statue. Is it the Christus Project? I'm trying to remember. There's a guy on Instagram reached out. I don't know if I can dox him. Actually, he said it was fine. Ethan the GOAT. Look at this thing, man. I mean, come on, with the lights and everything. So anyway, that's sitting on my desk now. It's inspiring me to be more like Jesus. I'm trying to be like Jesus. I'm following in his way. I'm trying to love as he did. In all that I don't remember the lyrics. What the freak? I've been out of primary so long, I don't even remember the lyrics. Anyway, that guy's just tremendous. That guy's just so tremendous. Bro would have won with the heart of Utah by his side. So true. Dude, so true, James. Banger. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Asian Mormon. Here's our super chat from J-Lo Ma. Let's go. How we doing, big guy? So good to see you.
J-Lo Ma sent $50. Let's go Kai our Navu Legion Commander. Let's get it.
I'm happy to lead our troops. Estamos dirigiendo los ejércitos de Legión de Nauvoo. Yeah, but what do you think of the Christus, though, J-Lo? J-Lo Ma. It's funny, when I had it down, when the light was coming up, it's like it's like a James, or not James Bond, it's a, who's the other one? Indiana Jones. It's like Indiana Jones looking into the Ark of the Covenant or something. I don't know. Thomas Kellogg, thank you for the 20. He says, hey, I've been appointed to the National YR's Club Development, New York YRs. We are uncanceling ourselves. Oslo, typo, and potentially running for something as soon as we, the YRs, are back. They are coming back soon. I have heard this. I've been hearing that the YRs are coming back. I have been hearing that the YRs are coming back soon, and I cannot wait. We support the young Republicans. They were never canceled. You're only canceled if you allow yourself to be. This is what I have learned. After years of being canceled, I have learned you are never canceled until you allow yourself to be. So if you just deny it, if you just say, no, I'm not, people will tell you, and it's actually so funny. They'll literally say, didn't you get canceled? You can literally just say, no. What are you talking about? Canceled? Like a TV show? Like an order? If you just deny it, deny, you're not canceled. That's how it works. They cannot cancel you if you don't let them. I'm working with the National Young Federation on Club Development Committee. Based. Very based. Yeah, that is tremendous. We're working with the YRs over here in Utah. What we need to do, and this is what you should do too, you should work very closely with your college Republicans chapters. And you should create a pipeline from the college Republicans to the young Republicans. Create that pipeline so that you never lose anybody. You lose a lot of participation in the years from like 25 to 30. That's where you lose the most people. They stop participating. They stop working in the party. They stop changing things. You need to retain those people and you need to red pill them. Make them as based as possible. Take from the CRs, the most based people, put them in the YRs because they will be able to remain in leadership for a longer amount of time. The young Republicans are like ages 25 to 35. You have like a 10-year span. So that is what you have to do. Create that pipeline. That is the best advice I can give you. That is the best advice I can give you. All right, we've got no more super chats right now, so we're going to dive into our second story. Diving into the second story. Give me a second here. All right, we're back. And actually, I gotta have some water here. Oh, I don't have much water. I gotta take my creatine. Guys, would you guys give me a second? Would you guys give me a second? Oh, great, the studio's falling apart again. Would you guys give me a second to take my creatine and grab some water? Because if I don't have water with my creatine, I'll literally die. It will kill me. That's how that works. If you don't know that, if you're not drinking a lot of water with your creatine, you're gonna die. Your endocrine system is gonna be shredded. Anyway, so if you guys will allow me, can you tell me in the chat, guys? 1 in the chat if you guys are letting me go. 2 in the chat if you're not. 1 in the chat if I can go grab some water real quick. 2 in the chat if that's not okay. 1 in the chat if yes. 2 in the chat if no. Let me take a... Seeing lots of 1s. I love this. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the permission. Not that I needed it. Not that I needed it, but yeah. We'll give you guys some music in the meantime. How about that? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Okay. Boom. I'll be right back. Where's our pause screen? Hear me. All right. Oh my goodness, what the freak is going on over here? I'm sorry. Oh, great. Okay, there we go. That's better. Oh, sorry, studio. My beautiful house here. Hey guys, my beautiful house out here in Palo Verde, California. It's falling apart. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry that the apartment is falling apart, guys. My apologies. I have my ringer on? No, that was good music, dude. That was good music. Talking about left my ringer on. Shut the flip up. Shut the flip up, dude. All right, anyway, we're going to dive back in. We're going to dive back into this story about the governor's race in Idaho. Now, this is very important for our Latter-day Saint viewers. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but we got a guy running for governor in the great state of Idaho who has not been very nice to the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. His name is Mark Fitzpatrick, a.k.a. Lilburn W. Boggs reincarnated. So this is from the Deseret News. It says, Idaho governor on track to win primary as opponent scrambles to respond to Latter-day Saint voters. Mark Fitzpatrick posted controversial social media messages on the day church members were attacked in Michigan. All right, you ready? Idaho Governor Brad Little will compete in a primary election on Tuesday against a conservative critic who has drawn backlash over past comments regarding members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Little has focused his campaign on a record of historic tax cuts, deregulation initiatives, and school choice, but faces ridicule from his right flank for not taking a firm enough stand on pandemic lockdowns, immigration enforcement, and social issues. Little's most vocal opponent is Mark Fitzpatrick, a bar owner, culture warrior, and former police officer. Like in 2022, Little faces 7 primary challengers. Fitzpatrick appears to be the only one with fundraising to challenge Little's third-term ambitions. The most well-known candidate is probably the most controversial candidate. Robert Jones, a pollster at GS Strategy Group, told the Deseret News, referring to Fitzpatrick, that's kind of why you see him trying to do some cleanup in the lead up to the election. We'll get into what that cleanup is. Anyway, what Mark Fitzpatrick said about Latter-day Saints. Here it goes. As Fitzpatrick tries to frame himself as the only viable conservative alternative to Little, he has found himself having to account for statements he made after the deadly attack on Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan in September. If you guys don't recall, there was a shooting in Grand Blanc, Michigan, where a man drove his truck into a church that had meetings literally happening, where there were women, the elderly, children, fathers, who were all inside. He set the building on fire and with an AR took to shooting the people inside. On September 23rd, the same day, a gunman rammed into a church meeting house, lit the building on fire, and started shooting, killing 4 individuals and wounding 8 others. Fitzpatrick took to social media to express his distaste for the faith. This was his tweet, replying to Donald Trump. This was crazy. This was crazy. You ready for this? Trump said, I have been briefed on the horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on the scene and will be leading the federal investigation and providing full support to state and local officials. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. That's a great tweet. This was one of the best messages that Trump has put out. Here is the response by Mark Fitzpatrick. Dear @RealDonaldTrump, comma, Mormons aren't Christian, period. Stop saying otherwise. Before the bodies of the families were even cold, as they laid on the ground, as the church was burning, Mark Fitzpatrick decided the most important thing to do in responding to the shooting was to clarify that Mormons were not, to his opinion, Christian. Mark Fitzpatrick believed the most important thing to say on social media, where family members were probably checking in to see if any of their family members had posted anything, to receive updates about the shooting. He felt that the best thing to do would be to say, yeah, but they're not Christians, Mr. Trump. As if that was the problem. And I've said it before, and I will say it every time that it happens. Whether it is Charlie Kirk being killed and leftists attempting to justify his murder by citing things that he said and saying, but he wasn't a good guy, or whether it is Mark Fitzpatrick attempting to downplay and minimize the murder of innocent Latter-day Saint families on Sunday as they attend church to worship Jesus Christ. whether it is him minimizing it or them, the minimization of violent acts by responding to them with anything but sincere empathy and prayer is exactly what is wrong right now in this country. We have people who are so stratified, is that the right word? We have people who are so divided, people who are so separated from each other, that rather than extend an arm of empathy, they would rather clarify the theological distinctions between them and the victims of a mass shooting. And for what purpose? What purpose does it serve to make that clarification in that moment? Is it to be sure that nobody empathizing with the people murdered gets the wrong idea about them? Look, you can empathize, but don't think they're Christian. Look, you can be sorry that they're all dead, but don't you think they're Christians? They're actually all going to hell. Mark Fitzpatrick thinks all of those people are in hell. And now, Mark Fitzpatrick is in a total meltdown on Twitter. And this is hilarious. This is so funny. And I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. We need to go over this struggle session. We need to go over this on stream. It is just too good. It is just too good. Ready? And he literally plays the token card. He literally plays, but I have a Mormon friend. He literally does but I have a Mormon friend. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. You guys ready? You guys ready? Oh, also, think of a single time. Could you think of a single time that this has ever happened with a Latter-day Saint? Can you think of a single time that like somebody ever has died and Latter-day Saints have responded in a similar way? There's not a single case. So yeah, but let's watch this. Let's watch this video. I want you guys to see it. I want you guys to see the crash out. This is kind of funny in a kind of sick way, in a sick, evil, terrible way. Here we go. Here is, oh, why am I in front of the logo? There we go. That's better. Okay, here it is. Here's his crash out.
The fact that somebody
He posts this video. He says, Idaho LDS, this is the best 2 minutes of video you can watch today. This guy is actually mutual of mine. He says, LDS knows me well and says the choice is clear. Mark Fitzpatrick for governor. This is his response to the controversy.
Just address this too, because I've had multiple conversations with Mark about this. I understand that he doesn't necessarily support or believe in all the beliefs of the LDS faith. I'm part of the LDS faith. I know there's a lot of LDS people in Idaho. And I understand, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm not voting for somebody because they like my religion.
Also, can we work on cropping this video? Can we work on like getting the quality of this video up above like 360p? You couldn't even crop out the bottom of his Instagram. You couldn't even download the Instagram video. Instagram allows you to download videos. If not, you put it into a freaking YouTube or Instagram to MP4 downloader. I mean, this is a piece of cake. What are you doing? You can't take the time to even crop the video right. This must not be a very important issue to you, Mark.
I'm not voting for someone because they believe the exact same things I do when it comes to Christ. I'm voting for somebody who I believe is going to actually care about us as Idahoans, who actually is going to take care of the state, and who's going to advocate for the constitutional principles that this state should be built on, and is going to actually have policies that make my life and my family's life better as Americans and as Idahoans. I don't care if he likes my religion or not, okay? As long as he's willing to respect it, and as long as he's not going to try and change the fact that I believe what I believe or control what I believe, and as long as he's going to respect that freedom, I don't care. And from all the conversations I've had with Mark, that is absolutely what he's going to do. But it doesn't mean he has to agree with you. And it doesn't mean he has to like what you believe. Okay? I don't like a lot of things people believe, but I still have to respect their freedom to believe it. But voting solely based on the fact that somebody believes exactly what you believe is insane. And by the way, it's extremely hypocritical, because I know that you people out there that are screaming and yelling about Mark not liking Mormons, you're the same people that blame the Jews for everything.
What the freak do the Jews have to do with this? What the freak do the Jews have to do with this? I got to that point in the video and I'm just like, what? What? So the Mormons, the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who don't want to vote for a guy who like couldn't extend a word of empathy hours after, our brothers and sisters were killed, we're the same people who blame the Jews for everything? What the freak does that have to do with anything? I checked this guy's account, by the way. He's generally pretty based. He's generally pretty based, the guy making the video, on the Israel question as well, but it's just like, what the freak is this?
You're the same people that blame white people for all the issues when it comes to LGBTQ or black or whatever.
No, it's not. I promise you, I'm not the person blaming white people.
Like, you're all a bunch of hypocrites. Vote for what makes your life as an American better, for once, instead of voting based on your feelings or your religion. Just understand, we can...
Don't vote based off of your feelings or your religion. Guys, don't vote. Guys, don't vote based off your religion, guys. Do not vote for what your religion dictates. That would be terrible. Guys, it would be so bad if we all voted based off of our religious conscience, guys. It would be terrible. It would be so bad.
Not let Idaho fall to this same corruption that so many other states have. We cannot let Idaho become a state that is subject to this AI surveillance and these data centers and everything else. And I believe, based on the conversations that I've had with Mark, that he is going to fight to keep Idaho free, to make it easier and better for American families, for Idahoan families, and that he truly wants to clean things up.
So there you guys go. That was what Mark tweeted out. He tweeted that video out. And I actually, I'm not all too familiar with Mark's campaign. I do believe that he would be more conservative than Brad Little. That's not a tough bar to cross. He likely would be more conservative than Brad Little. I'll give him that. It's tempting. Tempting. But what are we doing? Do you really care about Latter-day Saints? Or are you just starting to realize that a lot of your state is LDS and you really didn't seem to care about us at all? In the moment we most needed people praying for us, you thought the most important thing to say was that we weren't Christians. Who's this dude endorsing Lilburn Boggs? And what does this have to do with the Jews? Banger. Leftists want to eradicate everything we believe in and care about, and so do you. You have nothing to offer us. Goat, I'm so glad you showed a video of this ginger-headed cock telling us we should ignore how you react to the Latter-day Saints being shot and killed. Banger, Jared. You think the issue is that we have different religious beliefs? Your only social media comment on the day our church was shot up and our members murdered was to correct anyone referring to us as Christians. Are you being serious? Banger, James. This isn't about your religious beliefs. This is about how you treat people the day their friends and family are killed for the way they worship Jesus Christ. Nobody should trust your ilk. Banger, Brother Shackelford. This is a who's who of like the best LDS Twitter accounts. I'll make sure to tell my Idaho friends not to vote for you. Banger, Dr. Jason. I'll tell my uncle and aunt in Idaho not to vote for you. Banger, Andreas. You'll post anything but an apology and we're not dead. Banger, Dog. Troy says, sure. Doesn't mean you can't be called out for your poor and ill-timed tweets. The choice may be clear, but so is your lack of accountability. Banger, Troy. This is an awful propaganda. This is an awful lot of propaganda to avoid apologizing. Banger, Bob the Duck. Apparently admitting you were wrong and sorry is really that hard. Banger, Carrie. Anyway. How to Alienate a Fourth of Your Voters and Lose an Election, a book by Mark Fitzpatrick. I think that's a good one to leave off on. What's this one by Quest? Bible says repeatedly, Earth is flat, non-moving, and has a firmament vault that God built above it on day 2 of creation. It's time to lose the satanic globe. Dude, what is going on? You can just apologize. Dude, even the Democratic Saints. Even the Democratic Saints get it. Even the Democratic Saints get it, man. I like a lot of your policies, and I don't care if you like or believe in a religion or not, but character matters, and you called LDS people evil. I honestly don't know who to vote for at this point. he replies wisdom and posts the exact same tweet that she's replying to. How tone deaf do you need to be? He literally, instead of apologizing, instead of clarifying, instead of taking a second to consider the way that all of the Latter-day Saint voters in his state are feeling, he replied not even with original commentary, but by posting in the reply the tweet that she was replying to and said, wisdom. This guy says no. He says, you must love socialism. What a perfect response. Hey, I'm not going to vote for you because you kind of spat, basically. You pretty much symbolically spat on the graves of my friends who died in Michigan. Oh, I must just be a socialist. Thanks, Mark. Anyways, so yeah, that's the situation. And then there's some other tweets. You guys want to keep going? Let's keep going. This, exactly. The tweet is, agree. Mark will still get my vote and is clarifying these historical posts, which is exactly what I was hoping for in this dialogue. Last thing we need in this battle is infighting over semantics when real evil is flourishing in the state. What is the original thread here? Hold on. Oh yeah, this he tweets out too. The moment that LDS people started replying, he said, wow, the bots are out in full force. Lies, lies, and more lies. This guy sucks. This guy really, really sucks. Like, seriously. What do I have to do? Pull your teeth out to get you to apologize? You don't have to say Mormons are Christian. That's not what this is about. This is about saying, you guys are right. Maybe I allowed my theological spats to get in the way of my empathy for people who were being murdered. That wasn't wise. That's a kind of apology, too, that does not require you to cede any political or theological ground. Nobody is expecting you to take back or change your religious beliefs. That's not what we're asking, Mark. You don't need to act as if that's what we're demanding. We are demanding you apologize for the way you responded the day of, hours after, a mass shooting where Christian Latter-day Saints were killed because of their religion in a church. Anyway, what's the proposed context? This reply quotes this account's September 2025 tweet, Dear Real Donald Trump, Mormons aren't Christian, stop saying otherwise, posted the day of the Michigan LDS church attack. Yes, that is a very helpful note. Cites high quality source, easy to understand, drives to propose claim, provides important context, neutral and unbiased language. Yep, very important. Submit and agree. Fantastic. I really wanted to vote for you. If you were smart, you'd apologize. And recognize whether you think Mormons are Christians or not, we want a Christian Idaho as much as you do. We should work together. Happy to work together. Let's go. The hundreds of Mormons I've met with the last several months know that. I have different beliefs about Jesus. I'm allowed to. Thanks. He still doesn't get it. You literally called them evil in one of your posts. Then in recent posts, talk about exposing all evil. Pretty easy to connect the dots. You were coming after 25% of the voting bloc of Idaho. Yeah, so instead, vote Brad Little. I mean, this is what it is, dude. This is what it is. I hate this paradigm. I hate this dichotomy. Hey, I don't want to vote for a guy who calls my people evil. Oh yeah, so you're a so you're just going to up and vote for the socialist? I'm not going to vote for the socialist. I just don't think that this guy is entitled to my vote. What makes you think that just because you have an R next to your name, you're entitled to the vote of the same group of people who you call evil? What makes you think that you are entitled to my vote? Come on. Quit it with this, dude. You're going to come out and call all these Latter-day Saints in your replies socialists because we don't want to vote for you for calling us evil? You're pushing us into their arms. I'm joking. I'm not going to become a socialist. But ain't no socialist ever called me evil. Ain't no socialist ever called me an evil. Only Mark. Only Mark. It's crazy, dude. Latter-day Saints make up roughly 1/4 of voters in Idaho and around 1/3 of state lawmakers. This ratio is higher in the southeastern corner of the state, where some counties boast the highest share of Latter-day Saints in the country. In 2022, Little received nearly 60% of the vote in Bonneville County, home to Idaho Falls, and Madison County, home to Rexburg, during the GOP primary election. That's where BYU Idaho is, making these some of his strongest performing counties. And then, don't you love this? Don't you love this? Mark Fitzpatrick replies with another banger, replies with another absolute gem. Brimstone coal shines so bright it could be a gem. It says, dispelling lies. I don't hate Jews. I actually love them. I don't hate LDS. I love them. I don't hate gays. I love them. I don't hate trans. I love them. Love does not equate to support or agree with. You can love and disagree simultaneously. I'm so glad you don't support the LDS. I was never accused, charged, arrested, or convicted of any sex crimes. What the freak is this guy even on about? I don't know all the lore. The subplot here, the side quest, the subplot of the Idaho governor's race has to be pretty freaking nuts. No cap. No cappington. I've never been arrested. I was never an LA sheriff sergeant. I'm not gay, never have been. I've never cheated on my wife. I'm happily married, really happily married. She's an amazing gift. One of our 6 looks different because we fostered and adopted him. I appreciate and love Chuck Smith. I used to attend weekly Bible studies with him in Costa Mesa in the early 2000s, but he was wrong for selling books predicting the rapture. True, we agree. Anyway. People aren't perfect, blah, blah, blah. I don't hate him, nor do I hate the cavalry churches. Oh, awesome. And then he talks about the Old State Saloon brand I built is from me, but it is personally brash with truth, unapologetic. It causes conversation, really good conversation. I'm not as brash as the brand, but I will stand for truth to death, if necessary. Jesus is truth. People have come to know Christ at Old State Saloon. I came to know Christ at the Old State Saloon. Awesome, dude. Do you prefer a man who is blunt and truthful? Who is called to be a servant of the people? Or do you prefer one who operates in secrecy, completely unchecked, hiding from the people? In my opinion, this governor's race is the most important in Idaho's history. It's our last chance to keep from turning into a socialist dumpster fire. Mark Fitzpatrick for governor. Bob the Duck, the goat. Go back to California, you looting opportunist. Oh my goodness. How nice of you to lump all 500,000 conservative voting Idaho Mormons in with gays, trans, and Jews. Yeah, isn't that crazy, dude? Isn't that crazy? Dispelling lies. Really, the only big issue here that people are talking to you about is the fact that you are really dismissive of 25% of the voting bloc. But thanks for putting us right there in with Jews, gays, and trans. Appreciate it. Hey, thanks so much, Mark. Thanks for your very detailed explanation of why you don't support us. Appreciate you, big guy. Thanks so much. This guy's really on fire. This guy really, man, I hope he does his own social media because this guy's on fire. Oh my goodness. This guy is on fire. So let's see here. There was another one here too. There was another post. He is just like posting coal after coal after coal. This is crazy, bro. This one is where it gets really nuts. You ready? I just spoke with a Mormon at a meet and greet in the Idaho Falls area. He can't even say the name of the church right. He doesn't even care enough to call us members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I understand it's like, I'll use the term Mormon for ease of understanding. When your head is on the chopping block, wouldn't you think that it's like a minimum courtesy you could do to us? Is, if you're not going to apologize, at least call us by the actual name of the church. But instead of apologizing, here's what he says. He told me he was concerned about voting for me because people are accusing me of hating Mormons on social media. After 5 minutes, I wonder how they got that idea, Mark. After 5 minutes, he understood my heart, and he was not worried about voting for me anymore. Are you serious? Like, what kind of a tweet is this? It probably helped I told him about my Mormon attorney I spoke with today and a Mormon's podcast I'm filming on tonight. Also, I was hosted at a Mormon friend's house last night. Also, I'm endorsed by Mormons, including Ammon Bundy. I don't hate Mormons. That's ridiculous. This is like the most insane tweet I've ever read. This is the most... How are you this out of touch? Cue name of the show. Cue the name of the show flashing across the screen. Cue Hall & Oates out of touch. How are you this out of touch? Translation. I just spoke with a black at a meet and greet in Idaho Falls area. He told me he was concerned about voting for me because people are accusing me of hating blacks on social media. After 5 minutes, he understood my heart. He was not worried about voting for me anymore. It probably helped that I told him about my black attorney I spoke with today in a blacks podcast I'm filming on tonight. Also, I was hosted at a black friend's house last night. Also, I'm endorsed by black people like, I don't know, Michael Jackson, like Cory Booker. I don't hate black people. That's ridiculous. This is how you sound, Mark Fitzpatrick. This is how you sound. You sound like that. What is going through your head? Literally, what is going through your head? If I have a governor, if you wrote that tweet, I wouldn't elect you because of that tweet alone. If you were running to be my governor, I would not elect you because of that tweet alone. What is this, 2012? Is this 2006? I'm not racist, my friend is black. I don't hate Mormons, I have a Mormon friend. Are we so serious, dude? Like, what the freak is going on? I don't know. I don't know, man. I just can't with this guy. I just can't with this guy, man. So tokenized, so performative. Dude, and get this, boom. You said Mormon 7 times here. If you're accused of hating people of my religion, and you stood there telling me Mormon this, Mormon that, I know you have no respect for any of the people you're talking about. Man probably told you he isn't worried about voting for you because after that convo, he won't. You should tell your Mormon friends to stop using that word then. Are we serious, dude? This guy will not say sorry for a thing. What is up with this like alpha Chad Protestant type who thinks that apologizing is like, I don't know, apostasy is sacrilege? I'm really glad you haven't apologized. I'm really glad you can't do the bare minimum. You're really showing me that you're standing up for your beliefs. And then he goes coping again. So many lies being pushed about me with lots of money behind it all. Brad Lowe campaign equals liars. If you're in Idaho, do not vote for Mark Fitzpatrick. If you are in Idaho, do not vote for Mark Fitzpatrick. This is a kaiclips call to action. Do not vote for Mark Fitzpatrick. I do not care. After 2 of those tweets, you've seen all you need to see. This guy sucks. This guy sucks so much. Like, there is nothing else to say. Let's do a little search. Let's see what Mark Fitzpatrick is saying. Let's look Mormon. Let's just look Mormon. Oh, this is everybody. I want specifically on his account, Mormon. I wonder if he deleted his old tweets. Did he delete his old tweets? I don't see any other tweets. What the? Huh. There we go. Dude, there is evil in every church, and we should expose it all. Craig, I have no mission against Mormons. You will be very happy with my leadership. You should see the horrible messages I received from Mormons in September. Oh, you mean after? After 4 of them were killed in a mass shooting and you thought nothing but to say we weren't Christian? What kind of a victim mentality is this? That's not condoning the things that were said to him that are probably awful, but are we so serious, dude? You're going to play the victim because people were mean to you after you thought that the best thing to say after a mass shooting, a targeted attack was, oh, they're not Christians, Mr. Trump. By the way, that all went down before I decided to run for governor. We must replace Brad. Shut the flip up, bro. Anyway. I've met hundreds of LDS folks in the past 3 months on my campaign. They know me and my heart, and I've been close friends with many Mormons in my life. That will never change. LDS already know this, but that's a little better, LDS, thank you. But I simply have different beliefs about Jesus. I know so many Mormons support me for governor. What is happening seems to be a coordinated attack with exaggerations in an attempt to build up the left's establishment support for the lying and deceiving Brad Little, who's driving our great state full speed towards socialism. On Tuesday, Mormons will vote for me if they want truth and transparency in their government, or they will vote for Brad if they want deception, liberalism, bloated government, massive illegal immigration, etc. Dude, you are so out of touch. Cue intro. It's like, what the freak is this guy doing, man? What the freak is this guy doing? Oh, and there it is. Dear real Donald Trump, Mormons aren't Christians. Stop saying otherwise. Love that. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, you're the best. Oh my gosh, you're the best, man. I'm gonna vote for you because if I'm not voting for Mark Fitzpatrick for governor of Idaho, then I am a socialist. I'm just gonna take, these punches. I'm gonna take him spitting in my face. I'm gonna take him punching me in the face. I'm gonna take his complete inability to apologize. I'm going to take his tokenizing of members of the church. I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to swallow it because I don't want to be a socialist. Give me a break. I'm not voting for this guy. You guys shouldn't vote for this guy. I mean, I can't. I'm in Utah. But you shouldn't vote for this guy. You guys should not vote for Mr. Mark Fitzpatrick. Do not vote. You're hearing it here now today. Do not vote for Mark Fitzpatrick. It's about all I have to say there. And we'll read through a little bit more of the article. On April 18th, Fitzpatrick said he does not hate LDS, saying he can love and disagree with people simultaneously. In response to Latter-day Saint Idahoans over the weekend on Monday, Fitzpatrick refused to apologize for his past statements, blaming what he called a coordinated attack with exaggerations on the left's establishment support for Little. Oh my goodness. Fitzpatrick, who advertises himself as a faithful Christian, represents a segment of Idaho Republicans who color their Christian nationalist vision of biblical policy with anti-Mormon flavor, East Idaho political Steve Taggart said. In an interview with the Deseret News, Taggart pointed out that Fitzpatrick's interpretation of the Bible, which includes a belief that the earth is flat and that the globe is satanic, has little room for Latter-day Saints. He is just beyond mainstream, and that's who he attracts. We really don't have splits on religion, generally speaking, and when you try to inject it or try to do it subtly, it's just a little bizarre, frankly. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is officially neutral in matters of party politics. Church leaders have reiterated that members come from a variety of backgrounds and experiences and may have differences of opinion in partisan political matters. Anyway. Fitzpatrick has become the face of a broader movement in Idaho to bring an explicit endorsement of traditional Protestantism to the state capital. This attitude has historically been in tension with the state's Latter-day Saint population of nearly 500,000. I want to see if there's anything else that's really relevant here. And it's like, yeah, the guy's policies aren't bad, but he completely lost my vote. Completely lost my vote. Let's see here. Yeah, that was about it. That was about it. It really is just insane. And it is so freaking just undermining, demeaning, low. I dislike it a lot. So do not vote for Mr. Mark Fitzpatrick if you live in Idaho. And I'll say, you know, there's an attempt made by a lot of people in the Latter-day Saint spheres to say, well, look, this is always going to happen with Christian nationalism. And I'll say there's an aspect of that I resonate with, which is that, you know, if you listen to some of these Christian nationalist pastors, because they're all Protestant, you listen to the Christian nationalist pastors, many of them, they would provide litmus tests of, you know, an acceptance of the creeds in order to run for office. And that would obviously exclude Latter-day Saints. I would say, I don't think we have to oppose Christian nationalism. I don't think these are our enemies. They might consider us enemies, but we don't have to consider them enemies. We do have to tell them that this kind of stuff just won't fly. We won't support them at all. We must make them lose if they entertain this kind of a strategy. If they hate us, we don't have to hate them. I don't hate them. I do not. I don't know if he believes it, but I do not hate Mark Fitzpatrick. But I cannot allow him to win. And so I'm at this point where you have to talk to the Christian nationalists and you have to look them in the eye. You need to grab them by the head, metaphorically speaking, and scream. There is only one state where Christian nationalism has worked and still, to some extent, exists, and it's called Utah. The only state where weekly church attendance is above 50%. Weekly church attendance. The only state where the family is still as strong as it once was, certainly stronger than all the rest of the country. There is only one state that has such a high percent of charitable giving. There's only one state with the kind of Christian unity, civic mindedness, and sense of community. That state is Utah. And Utah is this way because of the Latter-day Saints. Utah is not this way because we have some magic soil, because the mountains have some air that flows down from them to make us all magic loving people. Utah does not have the perception of being a nice place. Utah does not have the perception of being where you are accepted, where you are loved, where you will be taken care of. Utah does not have that perception because of anything but the religious views of the majority of its inhabitants. Nothing else can be given the credit but the gospel of Jesus Christ. So if you want an ally, and yeah, by the way, look, the water in our lake is literally, it's salty. You can't even drink it. It's a salt lake. Is this a magical place? Well, it is the place. But the credit is only to be given to the restored gospel of Jesus Christ and the people who follow it. The humble disciples of Christ who call themselves Latter-day Saints. That is the only reason this state has all of those different qualities that every other state, and particularly Christian groups, want to have and aspire to. And if you want an ally in a fight against secularism, the first place to look is probably the one state that seems to be holding the line, and that's Utah. Every other state is fighting decline. We are to some extent as well, but every other state is fighting back from having already lost. We're the only ones that have a chance at conserving it. So if you want an ally in that fight, we'll be right here. You will never find a better ally. You will never find a more faithful friend. The prophet Joseph Smith was betrayed, was delivered into the hands of his enemies. He rotted in jail for months while his friends and family were being slaughtered, while they were tortured, while he was in Liberty Jail, in the basement, spat on, cold, hungry. He learned valuable lessons, and later on, when the very man who had betrayed him, when that very man who had betrayed him, wrote him a letter and asked for his forgiveness, the prophet Joseph Smith said, "Come now that the war has passed, for friends at first are friends again at last." And that is the attitude that we will take towards any individual who wants us as an ally. But you do not have the right to our vote if you are incapable of extending the least degree of sympathy towards us. So I hope, Mr. Mark Fitzpatrick, that your hopes are not high to win those counties. Anyway, that's where we'll leave that. And we'll dive into the super chats. I want to see if I got that quote right. Come on, dear brother, since the war is past, for friends at first are friends again at last. This was written in a letter responding to William W. Phelps. And William W. Phelps went on to write the hymn, Praise to the Man. And all my Latter-day Saint friends and brothers, all my Latter-day Saint friends and brothers is going to know that song. So anyway, sorry about the go-off moment. You can tell I've got some feelings on the issue. Let's dive into our super chats. Let's dive into the super chats. That was a little serious. Let's dive into the super chats. All right, now we have a $7 super chat. Thank you so much, Asian Mormon. Appreciate you, goats.
Asian Mormon sent $7, $7 Mormon dollars.
Ah, thank you, man. Thank you for the $7 Mormon dollars. Is that a, what is it, the Kirtland Bank? Kirtland note from the, what was it? It was Kirtland, right? Kirtland Bank. It was Kirtland, am I right? Yeah, the Kirtland Safety Society. That was a Kirtland note. Let's freaking go. Thank you. Hey, thank you for the $7, my Mormon Asian friend. My Latter-day Saint friend. See, you know, Mormon is like the N-word. The word Mormon is like the N-word. We can say it. You can't. Mark, you're not Mormon. You can't say the M-word. I can say the M-word because I'm Mormon. You can't say the M-word. And even I usually say members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because it is He who is most important. Not Mormon, but Jesus. But either way, I can say it, you can't, okay? Don't get that twisted. Yo! Huge super chat. Huge super chat from Zachary. Let's flip and go.
Zachary M. Hoffman sent $120. I'm definitely excited and looking forward to the future.
Aw.
Your recent loss was just experience gained and lessons learned. Speaking of which, God has been especially good to me lately, and it would be shameful to not share. Stay righteous, my friend.
Oh, man, that's too kind. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you so much, Zachary. Huge super chat. Oh, my goodness. Wowza. Wowzas. Yo, hold on. This is kind of a banger. What song is it? Hey, yo, hold on. Zachary, are you putting me on? Hold on. I gotta put in both earbuds for this. I like this. And dude, huge W's in the chat. A big yippee for Mr. Zachary. Can we get W's in the chat, guys? Can you put W's in the chat? Dude, I'm feeling this is a White Boy Summer song. This is 100% a White Boy Summer song. Dude, what the? This is a banger. Man, what an amazing song request. It's that song request of the week. Well done, man. Yo, W's in the chat for Zachary. Huge W's in the chat. And we got a super chat by Emma Rebecca Podcast. Thank you, Emma. Hey, great content. Keep up the content. Emma's been doing great stuff on Instagram. Keep that up, okay? It's great to see you in the chat. She says, thank you for sticking up for the LDS faith. It is the least I can do. It is the least I can do for a faith that has given me so much. It is my responsibility. Okay, this is a bop, though. Zachary, you killed it, man. And hey, do we need any more proof of Latter-day Saint charity? My buddy Zach says, speaking of which, God has been especially good to me lately. It would be shameful not to share, and sends a huge super chat. Now this is charity. Now this is LDS charity. I'm telling you people, it's so real. The high trust, the charitability, all of it's real. It's so true. Thank you, man. You're the goat. You're the goat, Zachary. I really do appreciate it. Let's see here. That's a banger, bro. That's a jam. Let's go, bro. Let's go. And he also said, I'm definitely excited and looking forward to the future. Your recent loss was just experience gained and lessons learned. That is so true. It really was. And mark my words, we will never lose again. We will never lose again. Never. Never ever. Let's freaking go. Why am I still in front of it? Oh, there we go.
Rebecca_podcast sent $1.99 on YouTube.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Sticking up for the LDS.
I'm going to grab my scriptures real fast. Yo! $5 from our boy. Let's freaking go. Marshmallow777. Maybe it's our girl. Maybe it's not a boy. Maybe it's a girl, because they got like a little bow.
At Marshmallow777 sent $4.99 on YouTube. Not LDS.
Hey, let's go. Hey, you're my brother in Christ. Let's freaking go. Hey, I love you. You are my greatest ally. We are in this together. We're shaking on it. We're shaking on it. You are an ally. I will fight for you. I will die for you, okay?
Javier Lopez made a 62.43.
Let's go.
$9.99 on YouTube.
Let's go, Javier. Let's freaking go.
Chat not to vote.
Based.
DNC gift. Hope you liked it and moving to Utah soon.
Based. Dude, the DNC gift was so awesome. He gave me an original copy of the DNC. So flipping goated. And it's got the freaking lectures on faith. That's what I love about it. It's got the lectures on faith. So awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, goat. Well, don't just move to Utah just because of me. I wouldn't want you to do that just because of me. That's a big decision. But dude, you're the GOAT. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support on the stream and for putting up the fight and for letting the Boise boys know. That's a big deal. Letting the Boise boys know is very important. You got the quad, Kai? Of course I got the quad on me. Of course I got the quad on me, bruh. Yo, Lisa sent the flow state for 200 joules? What the freak does that mean? What the freak does the flow state for 200 joules mean? Is that like an X thing? I don't know how this works. Am I tweaking? Maybe I'm tweaking. I don't know. Hey, we got Rulin Lehman and we got my Inkstained Garments in the chat. Good to see you, gentlemen. Good to see you, gentlemen, in the chat on X. Yeah, let's read some of the scriptures, okay? Costs moolah. Hey, thank you so much, Lisa. You're the GOAT. You're the GOAT for that. I appreciate you. Lectures on faith. Lectures of faith. Lectures on faith, okay? It's lectures on faith. It's not of faith. I mean, there's faith in the lectures. Don't get me wrong, but they're on faith, not of faith. I mean, of faith, on faith, kind of both. Let's do a little scripture study, guys. Let's turn. I'm in Timothy right now. This is a banger. This is a banger. You guys ready? To Timothy, This is the second epistle of Paul the Apostle to Timothy. This is what I've been reading. To Timothy, my dearly beloved son, grace, mercy, and peace from God the Father and Christ Jesus our Lord. I thank God whom I serve from my forefathers with pure conscience, that without ceasing I have remembrance of thee in my prayers night and day, greatly desiring to see thee, being mindful of thy tears, that I may be filled with joy. When I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, I am persuaded that in thee also. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance, that thou stir up the gift of God which is in thee by putting on of my hands. Laying on of hands. Laying on of hands for the priesthood, by the way. Laying on of hands for the priesthood. It's literally right there in 2 Timothy. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou a partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of God, who hath saved us and called us with an holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was given us in Christ before the world began. Premortal life, by the way. Premortal life, by the way. Premortal life, by the way. But is now made manifest is now made manifest by the appearing of our Savior Jesus Christ, who hath abolished death, and hath brought life and immortality to light through the gospel, whereunto I am appointed a preacher and an apostle, and a teacher of the Gentiles, for the which causes I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed. Whoa, super chat, huge super chat. Thank you, Goat. Thank you, Goat. We'll continue reading in a sec.
At Javier Lopez made a 62.43 cent $19.99 on YouTube. Don't worry, Browski, your reason number 2 tired of secular New England plus how's my W creatine? I'd kif tried it yet we need us LDS to step up, stay fit, scripture maxing, temple maxing, and children maxing 10 kids minimum.
So freaking true. We need to be children maxing. Let's go. Fit, yep, we got to stay fit, scripture max, temple max, children max. So freaking real. As many children as the Lord will give you. That is the right answer. But yeah, no, the New England, dude. The secular New England, it's rough. Dude, the creatine's great. The creatine's really good. It's great because sometimes I want like kind of a sweeter, like tastier drink. And the creatine actually makes it like that. It's like a lemonade powder, but I'm taking creatine. So I'm a big fan. Thank you, dude. Seriously, very yummy. Very yummy stuff. And here is, what's up, Wes? Dude, good to see you, Wes. What a goat. God willing, inshallah. What's up, Iceman? Is that like the Drake album? Anyway, we'll keep reading here from the second epistle to Timothy by Paul. But is now made manifest by the appearing of our Savior Jesus Christ, who hath abolished death and hath brought life and immortality to light through the gospel, whereunto I am appointed a preacher and an apostle and a teacher of the Gentiles. For the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. Hold fast the form of sound words, which thou hast heard of me, in faith and love which is in Christ Jesus. That good thing which was committed unto thee, keep by the Holy Ghost which dwelleth in us. This thou knowest, that all they which are in Asia be turned away from me, of whom are Phygellus and Hermogenes. Think about that. All of the churches in Asia were turned away. It sounds like apostasy. Real. The Lord give mercy unto the house of Onesiphorus, for he oft refreshed me, and was not ashamed of my chain. But when he was in Rome, and sought me out very diligently, and found me, the Lord grant unto him that he may find mercy of the Lord in that day, and in how many things he ministered unto me at Ephesus. Thou knowest very well. Do not be ashamed. That is such a perfect chapter for what we're talking about today. Do not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Never be ashamed. And we are not given the spirit of fear, of cowardice, but of power, of love. What is it? But of power and of love and of a sound mind. Right there. Anyways, let's see if we got any more super chats. I think that just about does it. Thank you guys so much for all the kind words. Thank you guys for the support on the stream. I'm giving you a second, gentlemen. I'm giving you a second. Go to Kick. Go to kick.com/kaiclips. I'm sending the link right here. If you're on YouTube, go subscribe on Kick. And if you're on YouTube and you're not subscribed, subscribe on YouTube. What the freak are you doing? And follow us on Twitter. I have a Telegram now. I have a Telegram, by the way. And, yo! Let's flip and go? The GOAT? The GOAT? So which is best, BYU Idaho or BYU OG? BYU OG.
Made a 62.43 $9.99 on YouTube.
Thank you, GOAT. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Which one's better? Definitely the OG BYU. Definitely the OG BYU. That's, no offense. I know we've been talking about it, but yeah, BYU Idaho comes second to the OG BYU. Just want you to know that. So anyway, that's the situation. Got to include BYU Hawaii. Still, OG BYU is the best. By far. Not even close. Sorry, guys. Hate to tell you. But thank you guys so much. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm going to be getting a Telegram up very soon because I was finally able to make one again. I was banned on Telegram. Isn't that crazy? But yeah. Follow on Kick. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe or follow on Instagram as well. And, dude, he's on top of it, bro. He's freaking killing it. Javier is killing it, man. What the flip? We got a new Asian Mormon? Not Asian,
Javier
but...
Lopez made a 62.43 $9.99 on YouTube. Buy Weedo filled with weirdos.
BYU I do is filled with weirdos. Hey, we love our Idahoans. Okay, hey, we can't trash them. We just spent the whole stream. We're supporting them, okay? We love Idaho. We love Idaho. We're coming together. We are coming together to we're coming together to support, all right? Let's be clear here. But anyway, that's the situation. Thank you so much, everybody. I love you guys. Appreciate you all. Once again, asking Kai to talk to Rhetorically Defective. I was watching his stuff the other day. It's very good. Very good stuff. I'd be down. That guy looks sweet. Guy looks cool. I don't know too much about him, but from what I saw, it was good. And dude, it's like there's another one like every couple of seconds. I get so close to finishing, and then it's like boom, he's killing it, single-handedly keeping the stream going.
62.43 $9.99.
Dude, thanks so much, the GOAT.
I'm joking. Love speech.
I'm joking. Love speech. Always love speech. Always love speech. Always the love speech, bro. Thank you so much, Javier. Seriously. And big shout out to everybody who super chatted. We've got Javier, who's like basically almost Asian Mormon at this point, but more Hispanic. Marshmallow, thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Rebecca, the Emma Rebecca podcast. Be sure to check her out. Zachary M. Hafen for the huge super chat. Asian Mormon as well for the huge super chat. And J. Loma as well. I think he may have come out on top. Let me do the math. Dude, he almost came out on top. He's tied for second place. Thank you guys so much. Total GOATs. We love you. I love you very much. We will never lose another election again, and we are not electing. We are not at all electing, what's his name? Mark. See, I already forgot his name. Mark Fitzpatrick is not going to be elected. Let me make that clear. Non-negotiable. Dude, what the holy moly. Now he's on top. Javier's on top.
62.43 $19.99 on YouTube. Now I am on top, no brokies.
Dude, no kidding. I don't know how you have so much cash, dude. Holy freaking heck. I didn't know you was loaded like that. The stream is, dude, high roller stream tonight. I didn't know we had the high rollers in the chat. Okay. Asian Mormon, watch out. Yo, Mona Lisa Bug, thank you for following. Appreciate you. Yeah, I didn't know it was the high roller chat tonight, though. Oh, my goodness. Mormon Girl, of course, I got you with the scripture study. Don't worry. Liberty Santano, good to see you. It's good to see everybody in the chat. We've got Javier, Samuel Jacobs, Mithric Mysteries, Zachary Hafen, J.R. Nosif, Lisa P. Frampton, Joseph Smith, JR67, Cactus Spartan, the Emma Rebecca podcast, of course. Who else we had? We had the Iceman. We had Wes. What the? Dude. I want you to bankrupt yourself. Holy moly, man.
At Javier Lopez made a 62.43
Oh my goodness.
On YouTube.
Can we get a big yippee? Can we get a big yippee and W's in the chat? Before we go, we need W's in the chat. That's the win. That's the number one spot right there. Javier just took it. Number one spot. That's a W in the chat. Please put W's in the chat. Call him Javier. Call him Javier the way he be taking W's. Clap and a half. Yeah, that's a yippee. Yippity doo-dah, yippity day. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. So true. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Like the support is actually crazy. This is funny. Somebody just commented on my Dean video and said, I disagree with Kai on some issues, but I have to say this was absolutely peak. Base job debating. Dean handled it perfectly. Thank you, Carson. I appreciate you. So, yeah. W, we all love you. We are shoveled and gruntled. So true. What do you think about the H-1B scam? H-1Bs? Bad. I'm against H-1Bs, H-2Cs, H-2A. I'm against it all. And Ronald Reagan was a fool for thinking that amnesty was going to stop immigration. It did not. It made things so much worse. So yeah, that's just an important detail. Just an important detail to know. But love you guys. Love you guys so much. Unfortunately, for today's episode, we are out of time, but we will see you in the next one, hopefully on Wednesday with a special guest. Adios. We will see you next time. Nope, not this one. Not this one either. This one. Adios. Bye.